Mr. Niedenthal, it's a great pleasure to have you today
with us.
It's
my pleasure.
I would like to ask you, what's so special about this photograph that depicts the future wife of Witold Kierzyn, codenamed
It's
Wypad?
simply a beautiful woman shot in a beautiful way, and it doesn't have anything to do with the uprising. I mean, it does, but you can't see from that
Exactly.
that death is around her, really. So that's why this photograph struck me as being so completely unrising, if you can say that, if there's such a form of saying it. It's just it's not an obvious picture to think of when you think of the uprising.
It could have been taken anywhere, anytime.
Well, exactly, it could, but also because now it's in colour, it could have been taken yesterday.
Exactly.
Which is the whole point of this colorization process, that it brings everything much closer to where we are now, really, even though this was all 80 years ago.
We know that this picture was taken after the end of the Rising.
Yes.
Myself, I see so much in the look of this lady, yes, kind of deception, but also looking into the unknown, yes.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we can't even begin to imagine what these people went through and what they're going through, even just after the uprising. For them, it's a tragedy that they had to capitulate, that they couldn't win, and they didn't win. But what went through their minds is something I cannot fathom after such a long time. Because in my lifetime, I've never been close to such a situation. Thank goodness, and touch wood. Yeah.
And you've been working with us, cooperating with the Warsaw Rising Museum on several occasions. What would be your recommendations to the foreigners? Why should they come to the museum to visit such photographs and reflect on the past a little bit more?
You mean the museum as a whole?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a very intelligently done museum about something terrible that happened 80 years ago, but which is always in the minds of Polish people, less in the minds of British or any other people, really. And that's why it's so good to have an English version of this color book, because whenever somebody comes into Poland, comes to Poland from England or from France or from Germany, and they speak English, of course, then they're looking for books which they can actually read, rather than just thumb through the pictures, which mean nothing to them if they can't read the text. So that's perfect. But the actual museum is, I think, very well done. It shows exactly what life must have been about. Of course, using today's imagination rather than real reality, because you can't go back in time. But very well done, and very, especially with the Liberator plane hanging over our heads here. It's
that
quite
commemorates the Allied.
Absolutely, the airdrops. I'm always full of respect for the memory of the uprising. Even though my parents never went through it, because they left Poland at the beginning of the war, so they actually missed what happened in '44. Thank goodness, in a way. That's why maybe I'm here. Yeah. But no, I think it's good, and it's very important for young people to realize what happened. It sort of brings to life, and especially photographs bring to life history much more than the sort of dry texts written by politicians or even historians. Young people they're used to flicking through pictures, and if they see photographs, especially color photographs from that era, it makes a hell of a difference, actually. Very, very important.
Yeah, photographs express so many emotions, and I believe they are key to understand
what
reality.
What I like in this picture is the cigarette, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not a smoker, but I've always realized that for a photographer taking pictures of anybody who smokes, that cigarette is a very good, very handy thing to have, because they feel much more at ease if they can hold a cigarette, and also especially if it's in a cigarette holder, which today we don't have. But you can't do that today, because not many people smoke anymore, or fewer people smoke, but also the electronic cigarettes have nothing to do with the sort of the romance in a way of real cigarettes, because it looks as if you're holding a ballpoint pen or something, and you hold it differently. It kills photography as portraits with cigarettes.
Yeah.
Whereas any portrait with a cigarette is usually, as much as I hate cigarettes, it's usually a success.
It's framed like a picture, painted picture. I'd
of
say.
course, it could be Rembrandt in a way.
Yeah, and the lighting.
Maybe it is. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your words and for all your work. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.